Hey everybody, this is Brian Lyon coming to you at Shiloh National Military Park. Here with my family today. We hope that you'll come join us on this journey as the Lion travels. Just outside Shiloh's front gates is the picnic area. Great place to stop and have a picnic just before starting on that Shiloh tour. A grand total of over 23,000 men died from both sides of the Civil War. The cemetery also has the remains of veterans from the Revolutionary War, Spanish-American War, First and Second World Wars, and the Korean and Vietnam conflicts. This is one out of 5 Confederate burial trenches. The largest trench contained an estimated 721 bodies stacked 7 deep of both Confederate and Union soldiers. 4 years after the war, the Union dead were exhumed and reburied in the National Cemetery. The Confederate dead were left buried in the trenches. For 6 hours on April 6th, the Confederates encountered such a storm of rifle and artillery fire, they named it the Hornet's Nest. General Daniel A. Ruggles massed 62 artillery pieces pointed towards the Hornet's Nest to help drive out the Union divisions of General Prentiss, Hurlbut, and Wallace. Ruggles' battery extended parallel to the sunken road for approximately 1/2 mile. It was the longest line of cannon fire ever used in the battle in North America at the time. built in 1853 by the Southern Methodists known as the Shiloh Meeting House, was divided over the issue of slavery. The original church building disappeared after the battle and has been believed that the Union troops dismantled it for the bridge building material. The present church was built in 1949 on the same site as the original church. Just past Ray's Creek is another Confederate burial trench, just about a 5-minute hike past the bridge. General Grant and his army were stationed at Ray Field with orders to not engage in battle. They were only allowed to defend themselves. Without orders, Colonel Everett Peabody sent out a patrol of 250 men because he was suspicious of increased enemy activity. His patrol stumbled upon enemy pickets screening General Johnston's Confederate army. Reinforcements for the Union gathered during the light of April 6, 1862. The next morning, General Beauregard led a counterattack. The casualties were extremely high. After a Union victory, the Federal soldiers dug trenches and filled them with unknown Confederate soldiers for burial. 5 trenches have been discovered. Union forces gathered here around noon on April 6, 1862. They launched a counterattack to hold back the Confederate forces. The next day, fresh Federal troops drove the Confederates from the field. The Confederates pushed the Union soldiers back towards the Tennessee River. When night fell, Beauregard and his troops camped around Shiloh Church to recover from the battle. When morning came, Beauregard stayed behind due to a fever from a recent surgery. The Confederates were defeated due to the Union reinforcements arriving overnight. General Albert Sidney Johnston, the Confederate commander, was shot here on early afternoon on April 6 while sitting on his horse under a white oak tree. A volunteer member of Johnston's staff noticed he looked pale and asked if he was injured. Johnston replied, "Yes, and I fear seriously." His artery in his leg was severed and he bled to death in a matter of minutes. The Confederate drive to roll up the Union left flank and capture Pittsburgh Landing reached its greatest intensity here at the Peach Orchard. The battle raged all afternoon long. The casualties were extremely heavy on both sides. The Peach Orchard was in full bloom at the time, and it was said that the petals dropped in such profusion from the storm of lead that it seemed to be snowing. The log cabin was moved here after the battle from near the Pittsburgh Landing to replace a similar cabin destroyed during the battle. The Bloody Pond, a source of heavy fighting on April 6, 1862. This pond was used as a source of drinking water and used for cleaning wounds. Horses, Federals, and Confederates alike died in this pond, and witnesses say it turned red from all the blood inside the water. These mounds were built between 1100 and 1300, and the Native Americans at Shiloh are the most likely related to the modern-day Chickasaw. This is where the bulk of the Union soldiers landed for strategic attacks against the Confederates. Thanks for taking the journey on As the Line Travels. Until next time, rock on.